Hi, Sebastian from UHT here, and today we're going to talk about two new features from UHT which will make your life a lot easier when organizing your tournament and preparing for the big day. I'm talking, of course, about the new player pre-registration feature and table management. Let's have a look. As you can see, I've already created a little tournament here. And if you look closely, you will see two new buttons here. One for player pre-registration and another one for reports. But we will focus on player pre-registration in this video. So this is a very fresh tournament. I haven't started it yet. And let's go ahead and click on this pre-register player button. And you will see this pop-up come out where you can organize everything about your future players. For instance, let's go ahead and add a few players here. I'll just add a few. I'll leave them called anonymous because names doesn't matter here. But as you can already see, each player has a field where I can set his payment status. So as soon as I received the money upfront from this player, I can already check the box here, and I know that this player paid his money, and I don't have to track it all the way in some other places. This is of course very handy. I can also note an email address for the player, um, and also some notes, maybe, I don't know, the food or drink choices of the player for the event or something else. Doesn't matter. On the top here, we have a few information which sums up everything we know about the players. So we see we have in total 4 registrations, which is of course handy if you have a lot more players than you can see here. So maybe you have to do some scrolling and now you don't know how many players there are. This is always summed up here at the above. We also see how many of the players are already marked as paid. So as soon as I mark a player here, you will see the payment status gets updated. And I also already see how big the prize pool will be, depending, of course, on what you configured in your tournament settings. In my case here, I think I set it to $10 buy-in. Yes, of course, you can also go ahead and search for a specific player. If you have a lot of players and you want the one with the 6, you just can enter part of the name of the player and you will instantly find him. You can already, of course, also remove players from your configuration or even reset the whole table. If you would have another tournament here where you already had players registered, you could also click here on the import players button and it would ask you from which tournament you want to import players from. And after selecting the tournament, all the players would be transferred inside this new tournament here. So you don't have to retype all the names every time. You can just re-import those from a different tournament. Okay, this is basically it. It's a very simple but very useful feature. You would also get different kind of information in this top bar depending on your configuration of your tournament. If you, for example, added a rake, you would get information about your rake. If you have a guaranteed prize pool, it would display the remaining overlay and so on. So very handy bar at the top displaying you the most relevant information about your players and the tournament. This, of course, leads us to the next step of the tournament organization. So now you can see I have quite a few players registered to my tournament, and of course I need to plan well how to handle those at tournament runtime. Before this wasn't possible because UHT didn't support tabling, but now you have table management available at UHT. So you can already hit up this button here in the player pre-registration and you will get this table management pop-up. And here you can see you have at the moment 16 unassigned players. And unassigned means that they're not assigned to any table, of course, because we don't have any tables yet. So let's go ahead and maybe create 3 tables here. You can, of course, name them as you want, maybe room 1 or so on, or garage. Doesn't matter. You have the choice. And now the next step would be, of course, somehow distributing your players to the tables. You can do that up front, like we're doing it right now, or you can also do it at tournament runtime. We will see this later, but for now, let's play around with it a little bit. So let's go to our unassigned players. We can go ahead and click on Assign Randomly, and this will ask us how many players we want to assign per table. So for example, if I select 7 players per table, it will it will randomize the players and assign up to 7 players for each table. Um, let's go ahead and tell it to assign 5 players on each table. Oh, of course, as you can see, this is not possible since we have 16 players. It's not possible to distribute those on 3 tables with 5 players each. So one would stay behind. And the system currently doesn't allow it, so I either need to distribute 6 players per table or at another table before I can distribute those. So let's go ahead and select 6 instead of 5. And as you can see here, we have now one table with 5 players, another table with 5 players, and one table with 6 players. So as you can also see, the players are pretty random here. So there is no order or so. They're all kind of randomly distributed on those tables. This is only one way of distributing players. If we go ahead and say reset tables, so we delete all tables and unassign all players, we're back at the start. We can also go ahead and first add a few tables, then select a table and we can hit here add random. And it will ask you how many players you want to add to this table. So each table can have up to 10 players here. And we can go ahead and say I want this table to have 7 players, and the system will then go and grab 7 random players from your unassigned list and assign them to the table you were currently at. So I can even go ahead here and add 4 more players here and maybe add a third table and go ahead, and here you can also see that the system knows that there are only 5 players left, so it only offers you to add 5 players to this table. Let's go ahead and do this. And also here we have our random distribution of players, but this time we did it the other way around. The third and last way of distributing players to a table is via the player itself. Let me go ahead and unassign a player here from the table, so we get one unassigned player here. And as you can see, each player has also a random assignment button, and if I click it, it will ask me whether I want this player to be seated at the next free seat, or even put this player in between other players. Because as you can see here, we have a seat assignment for each player, and if I select place on next free seat, this would mean that if the system chooses this table for this player, because the tables are chosen randomly, so if table 1 is chosen, the player would be seated at place 8, at seat 8. And if I select a place in between other players, the player, if table 1 gets chosen, will be seated somewhere randomly at the table. So you have the choice here. Let's go ahead and place the player in between some other players. As you can see, table 2 was chosen and seat 5. As you can see here, we have now the player at seat 5 on table 2. All right, so as you can see, you have a few more other options. You can also assign players not randomly, but at your will. So you can select table here and you can go here and click on add player to the table, and you will see all players available here, and also you see at which table this player is currently assigned to. You can go ahead and search here, for example, for player 6, and you can tell it, as you can see, is table 3 and we are selected here on table 1, we can go ahead and click here and you will get a notice that player 6 here was moved from table 3 to table 1. And this one, and he got assigned to the next free seat here. I could also go ahead and click here on Move Player and then select which table I would like to move him to, table 3 here for example, and as you can see he's back at table 3. You can also go ahead when the tournament progresses and the tables get smaller, you can go ahead and tell the system to merge tables. You simply select a table like we have here with table 2, click on merge and you can select which table you want to merge it with, and let's go ahead and merge it with table 3. The system will ask you for confirmation, but then it will merge both tables and you will have the players combined here. Okay, this looks good so far. So we go ahead and close here, close and save, and now we're back at our start page. Now the day of the tournament has come and I would like to start the tournament. And as you can see here in the player management, I have now a little bit different presentation of the tables here, of the players. You can see all the tables here and you can expand or close the tables separately, so you can only have those tables open that are relevant for your actions right now. So you can also go ahead here and rename each player if you like, or if you didn't do this before. And you have also access to the same table management as we saw earlier, but now from the player management perspective inside the tournament runtime. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our tournament here. So now that the tournament is running, we have the bust feature available, which is only allowed to be used when the tournament is running. Let's go ahead and bust a few players here. As you can see here, we have also a new feature which is called Unbust. So you can go ahead and add the player back into the tournament without using another buy-in, which wasn't possible before. So maybe if you misclicked here and you want to undo this, you can use this button now. Also new is this one button here, which basically asks you if you would like to unassign the player from this table. So since the player is busted and didn't re-enter, we don't want to track this player at this table, so we go ahead and just simply remove the busted players from this table, so we only have the currently active players assigned to this table. And the other players will be added here to the unassigned table. They can still re-enter and be then reassigned to a new table. For example, player 7 here has re-entered. I can go to the table management and tell the system to place it somewhere, maybe directly back at table 1. So he's back here now, player 7, on a new seat, but he's back. Of course, you have also the ability here to search for your players. So if you go ahead and type here, for example, 6, you will instantly get your filtered results and you will see all the players. You could even go ahead and, if you have bounties enabled, search for a certain bounty and you would get all the players which have this bounty amount on their accounts. So this is basically it. This is our new table management features for UHT, which should make your life a lot more easier if you're planning and hosting bigger tournaments. So yeah, let me know what you think, and if you like UHT and would like to help our channel, like this video and help me out a bit. Okay, thank you for listening. Goodbye. See you in the next one.